second room of Windows forensics. Before beginning the forensics, we need to understand the file systems in Windows. There are two type of file systems, FAT file system and NTFS file system. Now it is done. Let's try to read the same file by using the Easy Viewer. Evidence of execution. Now that we have learned about the file system, let's learn where to find artifacts present in the file system to perform forensic analysis. In this task, we will look into artifacts that provide us the evidence of execution. So the artifacts that we are going to see will provide a sort of execution details. So let's see the first one. Windows prefetch files. Prefetch is one of the file types in Windows, and its extension is .pf. When a program is run in Windows, it stores its information for future use. The stored information is used to load program quickly in case of frequent use. And this information is stored in prefetch files which are located in C drive of the directory. C Windows prefetch. This is the directory. This is where the specific .pf files are located. Actually, these files are used for user's convenience. When a user is using a program frequently, this prefetch file is fetching some predefined details, and it makes the execution and the program launching easier. Prefetch files have an extension of .pf. Prefetch files contain the last runtimes of the application, the number of times the application was run, and any files and device handles used by the file. Thus, it forms an excellent source of information about the last executed programs and files. So this is another excellent place to look for in order to find the previously executed files and programs. We can use prefetch parser. So here is another tool, prefetch parser from Eric Zimmerman's tool repository for parsing prefetch files and extracting data. And the command would be once again the same format. Simply we are going to change the executable name, pecmd.exe. Rest of the stuffs are same. And again, it is going to store the details in CSV file. We are going to use the Easy Viewer to view the information. And let's see the next one, Windows 10 timeline. Windows 10 timeline is another file. It stores the recently executable application details. Windows 10 stores recently used applications and files in an SQLite database called Windows 10 timeline. So it is actually a database file. This data can be a source of information about the last executed programs. It contains the application that was executed and focus time of the application. The Windows 10 timeline can be found at the following location. So here is the location, and we can use Eric Zimmerman's, and there is another executable to parse this Windows 10 timeline database file. So the executable name is wxtcmd.exe, and once again the command structure is similar. And the next one, Windows jump list. Windows introduced a jump list to help users to go directly to their recently used files from the taskbar. We can view jump list by right clicking an application icon on the taskbar, and it will show us the recently opened files in the application. This data stored in the following directory. So here is the directory detail where we can collect the Windows jump list. Jump list includes information about the application executed, first time of execution, last time of execution, and the application against the app ID. We can use Eric Zimmerman, jlecmd.exe. There is another executable created by Eric Zimmerman to parse these jump list files. And if I scroll down, once again the format is same. We are simply changing the executable file here. So in the folder named triage present on the desktop, same folder that contains all the artifacts attached to machine, we have extracted Windows directory of the system we want to investigate. As we have seen on the triage folder, they extracted the entire C drive of a specific machine that we are triaging, and it retains the structure of the original Windows so that it will be easy to move through the specific directory. And now let's use the information we have learned to perform the analysis. Data saved in the folder named triage on the desktop. And if you are having trouble viewing CSV file, again an advisory to use Easy Viewer. All right, let's try the questions that we have. How many times was gcape.exe executed. Let's see the hint. Check the prefetch files. The triage data to be used is from the folder name. So here is the folder name where we need to fetch the prefetch file. So let's try to do that. We are already in the command line. We need to call the prefetch explorer. I think the executable name is pecmd.exe, and now hyphen f, and we need to mention the folder that contains the prefetch files. And the prefetch files are stored in Windows prefetch directory. So let's try to paste that Windows prefetch. So this is the folder that we need to pass. And if you are using the folder, then you need to mention hyphen D instead of hyphen F. So here we are mentioning prefetch folder, so that we need to mention hyphen D instead of hyphen F since it is the folder. So I am mentioning hyphen D here, and hyphen hyphen CSV, then the desktop folder, and I'm going to store the result as prefetch dot CSV. Perfect. Now just clicking enter and wait for a few seconds, it will give us the result. Now it is done. If I go to desktop folder, I can see the outcome here. So here is the outcome for result underscore prefetch. But before that, let's try to finish all these command line activities uh, in the same attempt. So what is the last execution of this specific file? So again, to answer these questions, we are going to use the prefetch file triage data. And let's see the next question. For this, we need to use the wxtcmd.exe Windows 10 timeline file. So let's try to uh, do that. And this time, let's modify the executable. And hyphen F, I suppose, and the folder that is holding Windows 10 timeline. Let's see the folder. Here is the folder detail. Users, username, app data, local, connected devices platform, random folder, and the DB file. So we need to move to that specific folder. Users, and the username is THM4 and 6. And here app data, local, connected devices platform. App data, local, connected devices platform, and a random, I mean the username once again, and activities cache db. So that would be the file. Yeah, this is the file. And one more thing we need to mention here, we need to make sure we are choosing hyphen f, as we are choosing a specific db file here, and hyphen hyphen csv, and once again specifying the output folder. And here I'm storing results, and it is nothing but Windows timeline file dot csv. And yeah, now it is done. It took just few seconds, and let's see whether we got the file. Yeah, the file also created. And if I open the file, yeah, we got the valid results. Okay, now let's try to check the last question. Now we have to use the jump list. We have to pass the jump list. And let's try to pass the jump list as well. And the executable name GLECMD. JLEC, and here is the folder -d, I suppose. Now let's see the jump list location. So this is jump list location, user, username, app data, roaming, Microsoft Windows, recent, automatic destinations. All right, now let's move into that. See users and the specific username, app data, roaming, I believe, Microsoft Windows recent, Windows recent, automatic destinations. Perfect. Now hyphen hyphen CSV defining the output format, and this is the jump list outcome. It will take few seconds. I got an error. I should have mentioned the hyphen hyphen CSV only once. So here it is. All right, now it is done. And if you see the folder, we can understand by the date modified, we have the jump list, Windows, Windows timeline, and the prefetch result. By using these three results, we can try to answer the questions that we have. And we can use Easy Viewer to open the file. And the first question, we have to open the prefetch file, the prefetch result. So let's try to do that. Uh, I'm going to Easy Viewer, Control O to open, and prefetch we are doing. So here is the prefetch output file. So I'm choosing the first file, prefetch output, and here is the outcome. So let's try to answer the question. All right. The question is, how many times was gcape.exe executed? So that is the question. We have to find the executable name gcape.exe. So let's try that. And Control Shift L to enable the filter, and filter by values. gcape.exe. So here is the file. I'm choosing that alone, and how many times that file was executed. So that was the question, I believe. So here I can see the run count. It is nothing but 2. So that specific executable ran for 2 times. And if I submit, that is the answer. And what is the last execution time of gcape.exe? Again, the same, but this time the last execution time. So here is the last execution time, I believe. Uh, let's try to answer. Let's try to take this and answer. And the hint is month, date, year, hours, minute. Yeah, that's the right answer. All right, now let's try to answer the next question. When notepad.exe was opened on 13/11/2021, 10:56, how long did it remain in focus? So this is the question. They gave a specific time and how long that application was kept open. That is the not open, kept in focus. So that is the question. So it also give the in-depth details about a certain application. And for that, we need to use the Windows timeline database file. And let's parse that file. And once again, opening it, uh, Windows term timeline, and here is the file. Yeah. Now I opened it. I can see the Microsoft, I can see the notepad.exe file, and this is where I need to look for. Control Shift L, filter by value, notepad. Perfect. Now here you can see the in focus, the activity type, executable open, executable in focus. So we need to check for the row 2 and 4. Yeah, here is the duration. So let's try to expand this. And what is the question? The file was opened around 11/30/2021, 10:56. 10:56. How long did it remain on focus? So that's the question. And the answer would be 41 seconds. So let's try to answer that. Yeah, that's the right answer. And what program was used to open this specific changelog.txt file? And in order to understand, in order to get the details, we need to check for jump list. So we already got the output of jump list. So let's try to open it with easy viewer, jump list, and I'm opening. So what is the application? Notepad.exe. So not notepad, actually the file name changelog.txt. So let's see. So here is the file path, and if you see here, I can see the file name changelog.txt. So this is the file. We need to find the application that was used to open this specific file. If I come little bit left side, I can see the application name notepad 64-bit. So that must be the answer here. uh, yeah, that would be the answer here. So let's try to do the same. And the application is nothing but notepad.exe. Look at this other details. It gives some in-depth data on the every executable that recently executed, and also the machine ID being used to execute, the path details. Yeah, this is all about these three tools: jump list, parser, Windows 10 timeline parser, and Windows prefetch files. Now let's move on to the next exercise: file and folder knowledge. Shortcut files. Windows create a shortcut file for each file opened in, each file opened either locally or remotely. The shortcut files contain information about the first and last opened times of the file and the path of the opened file, along with some other data. The shortcut files can be found in the following location. They also gave the locations of the shortcut file. And we can use Eric Zimmerman LEC, LNK Explorer. LNK is the file format for shortcut files. And the LNK Explorer is the utility by Eric Zimmerman to parse the shortcut files. When we run the lec md.exe, we can see the following options: And once again, the command is same. The creation date of the shortcut file points to the date and time when the file was first opened. The date and time of modification of the shortcut file points to the last time the file was accessed. All right. Now let's see the second one, Internet Explorer or Edge history. An interesting thing about Internet Explorer and Edge browsing history is that it includes files opened in these systems as well. So here is the crucial stuff. Internet Explorer and Edge browsing history. The Internet Explorer and the Edge browser also stores the files that are opened in the system in its browsing history. So that is a crucial information. Whether those files were opened using a browser or not, it will store the information. Hence, a valuable source of information on opened files in a system, IE or Edge history. We can access the history of the following location. I mean, in the following location. So here is the location to access the web history, and the files and folders accessed appear with the file. So this is the notation prefix in the history. Even though the several tools can be used to analyze web cache data, you can use autopsy to attach, autopsy in the attached VM and select the logical files as data source. So you need to select the logical files as data source. Then you have to select the path where the triage files are, the artifacts are stored, and next, you need to click that ingest module. You need to enable that recent activity ingest module alone. And when you click next, you are getting these details. This is the sidebar, and here you can see the web history. If you see the web history, you'll be able to read the data in this format. And if you click if you click your pointer over any file, it will give the details about that specific file and also the URL. You can see the notation here, file colon triple slash and then the file location. So this is where the location of this file being accessed either in browser or not. That is not a problem. And as shown as the data artifacts tab displays the information about the file accessed. And next one is jump list. We have already seen the jump list in our previous task. So the same information they gave here. And let's try to answer the question here. Answer the question below. When was the folder regripper last opened? So this is the question. And if you see the hint, you can see once you know where to look, the jump list will give you the date and time info. So again, we are going to use the jump list to fetch the answer for this. So let's try to open the jump list once again. Yeah, the same file. So let's see the file desktop regripper. We have to find the last opened time of the specific regripper file. So let's try to find that specific file regripper. So here is the file regripper, and we need to find the last opened time. MAC address. I'm trying to find the column here for the last opened time. So here is the data, target access, target modified. So this must be the one regripper. So I am filtering that. So the target accessed. So this is the time. I think this is the answer. No, this is not the answer. Let's try the target modified time. Is that the answer? No. If I see the hint, date and time info, what is the format? So target created. I'm not positive, just trying. So here is the last modified time. Let's try this. Yeah, that's the right answer. When was the above mentioned folder first opened? Yeah, here is the creation time. They're asking the first open time. So this is the answer. All right. Now let's move to the next one. External devices. All right. Actually, I need to answer this question as well. When was the folder Regripper last opened? We answered the first open and the last opened we need to find. And let's try to answer this one here. Yeah, that's the correct answer. So this is the first and last opened times. All right, let's move on to the next one. External devices, USB devices forensics. So this is the simple exercise. Set up API dev logs from USB devices. So very important point to note down. When any new device is attached to the system, information related to setup of the device is stored in setup api.dev.log. So this log is present in the following location. They also gave the location. And this file must be crucial to know about the USB devices, the recently attached USB device in the system. And the log contains the device serial number and the first last times when the device was connected. So here is the crucial information. The highlighted one represents the USB serial number and also it gives the first and last connected time. Here is what it looks like when you open notepad.exe. Notice that the first line which we can see the device ID and the serial number as I stated before. And the shortcut files. We have already seen this specific shortcut file detail so that we can circumvent this. But before that, the setup api.dev.log, it is in Windows INF folder. So why don't we try to open the file by using Notepad file? So here I am in the triage folder, C drive, Windows, INF. The specific folder is not present here, so we cannot do that here. So let's try with the system, the live system, INF. Yeah, here is the folder INF, and I'm having multiple files here, and the file that I need to look for setup api.dev.log. Setup api.dev.log. So let's try to move to that file. Setup api.dev.log. So here is the file I believe. So let's try to open that. Here you can see the list of I'm just trying to understand this. Am I seeing any word USB? So here is the detail about the USB file. Setup api.dev.log. Yeah, I think that must be the file. Should contain the information about the USB file. So this is just I was trying to understand the specific file. All right. So now let's try to answer this. Which artifacts will tell us the first and last connection time of the removable drive? Setup API dot dev dot log. Perfect. That's the answer. And it's a conclusion part. This is the wrap for this specific forensics room and just an information. And they asked us to check for the KAPE room for data acquisition. Earlier, we have seen only the forensics, not the data acquisition part. But if I click and open this KAPE room, the room is still private. It is not yet published. So let's wait for that. For now, it is time to wind up. We successfully accomplished this room. And yes, this is what I wanted to explain. If you see throughout this Windows Forensics series from the episode 1, we had some significant learning, and definitely it helped you. I hope if it really did, please consider subscribing my channel. You can, if you like this video, you can hit the like button, and if you have any other opinion, put it in the comment section, and you can also share this video among your friends. I'll catch you next time with another excellent, exciting concept. Until then, I'm signing off. Cheers and love you guys.